They handed me the rule sheet on my first night. I remember the paper was still warm from the printer, cheap laminate, edges curling like it had been handled too many times. 19 rules. Half of them looked like ordinary safety stuff: wear your vest at all times, report damaged packaging immediately. The rest didn't make sense. There was one that said, never answer a smiling return. Another, if the intercom plays in a minor key, go to the break room and wait until 7:07. And my favorite, do not acknowledge the supervisor in Dock 11 between 1:11 and 1:22 a.m. I laughed out loud. I thought it was a joke. Warehouse folklore, you know, the kind of weird humor people use to stay awake at night. The manager didn't laugh. He just said, initial at the bottom, Amina, and handed me a pen that already had a bite mark on it. The fluorescent light above us buzzed once, sharp, like an insect dying, and flickered back to steady. That should have been my first sign. But I was just tired, broke, and grateful to have somewhere that offered both a paycheck and a roof. So I signed. They gave me a badge, steel-toed boots, and a room above the warehouse floor, barely bigger than a walk-in closet. It has a bed, a mini fridge, and one window that faces a row of sodium street lamps, all burned out years ago. The company calls it on-site housing. I call it storage with plumbing. I tell myself it's temporary. A few months of night shifts, a few paychecks, and I can help my sister catch up on rent. That's the plan. That's always the plan. You don't think about strange rules when you need money. You just follow them. Still, I keep that sheet taped inside my locker door. The ink smudged a little where I touched it with sweaty fingers that first night. Every time I opened the locker, I read it again, especially number 13. If the intercom sings, don't move, it's listening. I didn't understand what that meant back then. Now I wish I hadn't. Learned. Yeah, that sound. That's how it always starts. Before all this, I was supposed to be a pharmacy tech. I liked the order of it, counting pills, reading labels, knowing exactly what every number meant. There's comfort in systems. If something doesn't balance, you can find the error, fix it, make it make sense again. That stopped making sense the day my sister's rent came due, and my tuition reminder hit on the same morning my mother's hospital called about a remaining balance. 3 numbers. None of them fixable. So I dropped out. Got a job. Then another. Then this one. They call it the Walmart distribution center, but it feels more like a city that forgot it had people in it. Flat roof, no windows. Rows and rows of racks that stretch until the air tastes like dust and cardboard. Every sound gets swallowed, even your own footsteps. The whole place hums like it's breathing through the vents. When they told me there was housing above the warehouse, I thought they meant a dorm. It's not. It's a box. A narrow room with metal walls that sweat when it rains. One cot bolted to the floor. One hot plate. A shower that takes 37 seconds to get warm, I counted. Still, it's more than I had before. I tell myself that a lot. It's more than you had before. It keeps the panic from getting loud. I keep my textbooks in a drawer under the bed. They smell like disinfectant and regret. Sometimes, during my 15-minute breaks, I open one just to remember what it felt like to understand things. Now the only thing I understand are barcodes and rules I'm not supposed to question. That's how I met Sprocket, the raccoon. He came through the vent near the sailing one night while I was eating instant noodles. Dropped straight onto my table, knocked the bowl to the floor, and stared at me like I was the one trespassing. He's filthy grease in his fur, one ear half gone but clever. Knows how to open the snack drawer. Knows which vending machines hum before they break. He follows me sometimes when I make my rounds. Other times, he disappears into the ducts like he has another life somewhere. Maybe he does. Maybe we all do. Every shift starts the same. Clock in, scan, snag, repeat. Hours pass without meaning until your hands stop feeling like yours. You start thinking maybe that's the point. Keep moving so you don't notice how empty it is. Keep following the rules. The others, the few who still work nights, don't talk much. You pass each other in the aisles, nod once, and that's it. I used to think they were just tired. Now I'm not so sure. There's one guy works receiving. He's been here longer than anyone. He told me something during my first week, just once, in a whisper, like a secret he wanted to get rid of. He said, "Don't stay past your shift. The place changes after hours." Then he walked away. I thought he was kidding. Everyone's a comedian at 3 a.m. But later I found his locker empty. Badge deactivated. No exit record. Like he'd never existed. Sometimes I wonder what happens to people when they stop showing up here. Do they quit? Transfer? Get erased by paperwork? Maybe the system just absorbs them. Adds a new rule. There it is again, that sound. Same one I heard my first night. That single wrong note. Like someone humming off-pitch through a metal pipe. The rule sheet says if you hear it, you wait in the break room until 7:07. I never asked why. No one ever does. You don't ask about rules here. You just follow them. Because sometimes you can feel the warehouse listening back. Shift S starting. Time to go scan. The warehouse has its own rhythm. Belts whir, scanners beep, forklifts groan like they're dreaming. After a while you start hearing patterns, a heartbeat made of machinery. If one sound goes missing, you notice. That's how you know something's wrong before anyone tells you. It's a city made of motion. And in the middle of it, me, badge 44,127, making sure boxes find their way home. Except some boxes don't belong anywhere. Those are the ones that worry me. It happened my third night. 1:06 a.m. The intercom popped like a bubble and played one single note, flat, wrong, minor. Everyone on the floor froze. No one spoke. Even the belts paused for half a second, like the building held its breath. I remembered Rule 9, if the intercom plays in a minor key, go to the break room and wait until 7:07. So I went, sat there under buzzing lights while vending machines clicked like nervous teeth. At 7:07 exactly, the hum returned, normal again. No explanation. No questions. Just relief, thin and temporary. A week later, Sprocket led me somewhere I shouldn't have gone, return Bay C. A pallet had fallen over. Underneath, a stack of store mannequins, their arms attached backward, faces glossy with dust. Every one of them had a tiny yellow smiley sticker inside. The collar, warm to the touch like it remembered skin. Rule 11 said never answer a smiling return. I didn't understand what answer meant until one of the mannequins exhaled. Just once. A sigh like air escaping packaging. I left the sticker there and backed away. Sprocket hissed until we were 2 aisles over. By Friday, one of the temps stopped showing up. Her time card ended mid-shift. No transfer, no notice. HR replaced her name with a form stamped conscientious release. Someone taped a smiley sticker to her locker. When Sprocket saw it, he ripped it off and shredded it. He never touches anything that smiles. Doc 11 is off limits after 1:11 a.m. That's what Rule 14 says. I thought it was superstition until I saw him. Tall, too tall, suit wrinkled like it had grown from the walls. Hands folding boxes that weren't there. Every time the scanner light passed his face, it turned to the texture of cardboard, brown, ribbed, hollow. He didn't move like a person. He moved like footage that skipped frames. I looked once and the lights behind me dimmed. I didn't look again. I started checking the cameras during breaks. The feeds glitched from 1:11 to 1:22 every night, exactly 11 minutes gone. File metadata read, redaction protocol, maintain operational integrity. That's corporate language for ignore it. One older clip showed something worse. A blurred shape on the belt moving upstream like the boxes were trying to leave. Then came the special task. A message blinked on my scanner. Retrieve pallet 113, basement storage, priority. I didn't even know we had a basement. Sprocket was missing that night, which should have been my cue to refuse. But the key card beeped green. And I went down. The stairs smelled like metal and wet cardboard. Each step echoed too long. There were shelves stacked with broken vending machines, toys with their eyes melted shut, boxes labeled only returned. The air shimmered with heat, though it was cold. That's when I heard the sewing. He was there, the supervisor, kneeling beside a table of shirts, stitching them together. Not with thread. With something dark that pulsed like it remembered being blood. He looked up. His mouth stretched too wide. He offered me a folded jacket, one I recognized. My sister's perfume. Her name tag. He whispered without moving his lips, return processed. I threw a metal strap across the aisle. It clanged. The shelves screamed wood, metal, and something alive, and I ran. Boxes fell behind me like dominoes. The intercom played that wrong note again, slower this time, almost gentle. Sprog. Ket leapt from a vent and landed on my shoulder, claws digging in. I didn't stop until the exit door slammed and the hum returned to normal. Upstairs, the clock read 1:23 a.m. 1 minute past the window. I locked my door and didn't sleep. HR called me in the next evening. They smiled too much. Said the footage was corrupted. Said the basement doesn't exist. Said my keycard never registered below level 1. Then they asked me to sign a new rule sheet. It had 20 rules now. The last one read, if contacted by external investigators, report nothing. I signed. Of course I did. That's how you survive here, you keep signing. I still work nights. Still scan boxes. Still hear that note sometimes around 1 a.m. Sprocket sleeps near the vent, one paw on my boot like a guard. The paycheck still arrives. The debt still shrinks. That's progress, I guess. The rule sheet hangs above my bed. I read it every shift, whispering each line like a prayer. They make sense now, every strange, stupid sentence. They're not rules. They're warnings. If you ever get a job in a place that hums at night, remember this. Follow the rules. Don't talk to the smiling returns. Don't look at Dock 11 after 1:11. And if the intercom sings, stay very still. Because whatever's listening down there already knows your name.